What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Carly. Welcome to Zen.ishhhh. We are reading today and talking retrospectively about the full moon in Aquarius that took place this past weekend. I want to retrospectively talk about this moon. Because on Mondays I post readings on the Patreon. And I really wanted to do a pick a card reading for the star, which is the card that represents Aquarius in the major arcana. And because when we are learning the tarot, when we are talking about the tarot, I am not a fan of the quick fix where you pull a card or you pull a ton of cards because you're looking for an answer and just expecting it to be very blatant and obvious, which can happen. Anything's possible. But I have found in my time studying and sitting with the tarot that I get the most aha moments when I go back and look through my journal and time has passed and I see what intention I set and the pull that I got, and I read and reflect on what was happening in that time. I feel like the card makes so much more sense, especially being in the energy. Like big moon energy tends to be emotional, which makes sense. The moon represents our emotional body. And I think that when we're most emotional or unsettled, it's hard to find clarity around pulls or direction. And I think that's kind of the point sometimes, just like we talked about with the new moon, it's a time of darkness and trusting and having faith. The full moon is illuminating. And in the moon card, which in the major arcana, the high priestess represents the moon, and Pisces is represented by the moon card, which can seem a little counterintuitive, and you can literally use the tarot however you want. But I like the depiction of the moon, how there are these creatures most of the time coming up from the depths of the water. And I feel like that is things being illuminated, coming up from the subconscious, wanting to be addressed. And I don't think it's a coincidence that oftentimes when we're in full moon energy, we are a little bit overwhelmed or overstimulated by things coming to the surface needing to be addressed, like old wounds, old traumas, remembering cringy things that have happened in your life, or old insecurities coming up again, or ideas wanting to take shape and feeling a little bit overwhelming because it's so intense. And especially right now, I feel that happening, like this trudging up. And it's not always bad. For a lot of people, it's ideas or inspirations or excitement about the future, but then feeling overwhelmed because it's hard to find a specific direction. And right now, there are a lot of planets in retrograde, which makes it hard to have forward movement. So even being inspired right now can be a little bit overwhelming because we're unsure of the direction, and forward momentum is not really what's encouraged right now. Reflection and retrospective thoughts are supportive right now because we're in this retrograde motion, energetically speaking. So I first want to talk a little bit about the high priestess, which represents the subconscious mind, which represents the moon. And this information is coming from numerology and the divine triangle. We've been using this book a lot. I really love it. And the high priestess is sitting between a light and a dark pillar, which I like to think of as the sun and the moon, especially in full moon energy. It feels very relevant. It talks about receptiveness and retentiveness of the subconscious mind. There is this idea of not being able to retain or receive more than is appropriate in the moment, that we have to trust the unknown. We have to trust that the information that we have right now is appropriate. And if we are open to receiving, we will receive all the information necessary for us to move forward in the appropriate timing. So if we are really eager for more information than what is actually available to us right now or appropriate for us right now, there is a call for pause and trusting where you are and working with the information that you have, knowing that what you are meant to understand or know will come to you in the appropriate timing. And I know that that is a large theme right now for many people in this community, wanting and needing more because we want to know how this story ends or what our next moves are. And that isn't always appropriate. And the high priestess is guarding this veil to the subconscious, to this depth of knowledge. And we only have access to what is appropriate and necessary for us right now. The moon, the high priestess, is the number 2 card in the major arcana. After an idea has been sown by the number 1 vibration, by the magician, it must find a warm, dark place where it can properly be nurtured away from the light and clamor of the outer world. The idea seeks refuge in the depths of the moon-ruled subconscious where it waits to be fed by the imagination. And I really like to think of the magician card in the tarot as the imagination. It is the planting of the seed, but it's also the energy of Mercury, which is thought and communication. And I like the idea of the imagination being a combination of both the subconscious realm and like this very creative space, and the magician bringing something into form, planting the seed. And then we have the star, which is the energy of Aquarius. It is the drawing of ideas from the universal subconscious. Now, I've always thought of the star as healing, very, very healing. Like when I think the star, I think healing waters. But I like, when reading about these cards, this idea that we are meant to bring something very unique to the world. Like our unique vision and blueprint on whatever project we're working on, or even just the way that we live our life. Aquarius is extremely creative, very revolutionary. It's ruled by Uranus. It is the age of revelation, which we're currently in the age of Aquarius. And it talks a lot, in everything I've read about the star, it talks a lot about meditation and getting quiet so that we can receive insight and inspiration and recognize, like, you can be inspired by other people's work, but how can you take that inspiration, really sit with it and integrate it and make it your own? Like, put your own unique signature on it and put it out into the world. I forgot who I was talking to. It might have been a reading that I had for myself with an astrologer, and it talks about, there's a placement, I think it's Saturn, for a lot of people in my generation is in Aquarius. And she was saying it can be so complex for people with that placement because Aquarian energy is not meant to follow any straight path. And so for a lot of people with this placement, you are, or wherever Aquarius is in your chart, you are charting a brand new path. Like, it has not been laid before. We are creating something from nothing. And Aquarius is asking us to be intentional and quiet and be able to receive the information and inspiration necessary for us to move forward. So for a lot of people who are beating themselves up right now about not being where you think you should be or not knowing exactly where you want to go, I think you can find solace in the fact that you are creating something from nothing. And the inspiration comes from you living your life and being open. For me, prayer is extremely important. My prayer often is, how can I serve? How can I show up in a way that is beneficial for everyone who I meet or serve or come across? And the more that I keep going, because that's also our theme for the month, the more I'm seeing how me trying to behave like other people doesn't feel right. Like when for example, the yoga videos that I've been filming and putting on the Patreon, when I went to create one this past month, it felt just off. I didn't enjoy the process at all. And so I chose not to do one this month, and I've been really sitting with it. And I just feel that I have been trying to create something that already exists or replicate something that already exists, which is fine, but I can feel that I don't enjoy it. And so I've been in my own practice recognizing ways that I can bring my own unique teaching style to how I teach on the internet. So it's, you keep going, you keep moving, you work with what you have, but when it feels off, take a moment. The star is about stillness and meditation and allowing things to come up from the subconscious. I really like, this book talks about the ibis that is represented in the traditional version of the star in tarot is a fishing bird, and it represents searching and probing. Ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. And then continuing to move, continuing to do the thing, and watching how it slowly transforms and staying open to putting your own unique spin on how you live and how you serve. So that is what I have on the energies of the moon and the star. I am going to do pick a card readings on Patreon for Aquarius, for the star cards. And I will show you guys the cards that I have and which decks they come from. So the first is Vision Quest. This is one of my favorite depictions of the star, this and the Sacred Web. And it says, your life force flows and showers heart energy onto others. This creates a feeling of profound contentment and gratitude. And the word for this pile is grace. Your life force flows and showers heart energy onto others. This creates a feeling of profound contentment and gratitude. Then we have, this is my second favorite version. This is probably my favorite card in the Sacred Web Tarot deck. It is so unique. I love the frog in here. I love the spider web. The word for this card is healing. Through your boundless courage, you have found enough trust to open yourself to the unknown and have finally realized that being vulnerable is the greatest of strengths. Through your boundless courage, you have found enough trust to open yourself to the unknown and have finally realized that being vulnerable is the greatest of strengths. And then we have the Souls on Fire Tarot deck. The word is hope. Now that destruction has hit, you can take a deep breath. There's nothing to hold on to. The star is hope. Now that destruction has hit, you can take a deep breath. There's nothing to hold on to. The star is hope. If you follow along the Fool's Journey in the Major Arcana, the star comes after the Tower. And I have learned to love the Tower card. Being in a Tower season is very hard because everything that you have known and relied on, the foundation has been completely shook, and things that do not serve you fall away. And if you look at the Tower card in the tarot, it's like chaos, just utter chaos. And I love that the star comes after, because in a Tower season, you remain in the Tower energy until you have softened and accepted that this is where you are. And immediately upon doing that, it's so much easier to be in the energy. The discomfort comes from holding on. And what I envision is being in this chaos, being in this conflict, not wanting to let go and surrender. And when you finally do, it's like the star can settle in and show you all of the gifts that are available to you now that you have let go. There is a clarity that comes with it. There is an invitation to rest and receive, and also to give, even if it's being more open to spending time with others, or reading something that you would have never picked up in your Tower season, something that's very healing. It really is such a beautiful, loving, gentle, silly, very unique energy. And I think the star experience is unique to every single person. So as I do these readings, you can find them on Patreon. I want you to meditate on, journal about, think about what the last couple of weeks has been like for you, what has been coming up for you, and see how that feels. I've also linked all of these cards in the show notes below. See you in your reading.